Everyone. So reports have already started to come out that the Golden State Warriors are going to explore potential sign and trade deals for Jonathan Kuminga, that there is a path and they are expected to talk on a potential contract extension or a new contract, right? But looks like the Warriors are more likely than not going to work out a sign and trade deal. If I'm the Lakers, I am in that conversation. I am getting into that deal. Jonathan Kuminga, I don't know why the Warriors seem, especially Steve Kerr, just doesn't it's really odd, right? Because I get it. Jonathan Kuminga at times is the decision-making, right? Like the shot selection. There's things about Jonathan Kuminga that, of course, you look at and you go like, oh, man, right? No doubt about it. But he's 22 years old, right? He's 22. If you're expecting him to be your best player or second best player like they need him to be, he's probably not going to be that for you. But a team like the Lakers, where you're looking for him to be like your fourth best player, now I think there's much more value and he can kind of grow into that role and then eventually make that transition. There is no doubt Jonathan Kuminga has real star potential. That there is a version of Jonathan Kuminga that is unlocked, that he is every bit a star in this league. I mean, the guy has insane athleticism, can get after it defensively, right? He loses focus at times and, again, has poor decision-making, which Steve Kerr, I get, is not a fan of. Doesn't really like that. But, again, it's understanding the context and the role you're asking Jonathan Kuminga to play right now. Again, the Warriors Steve Kerr wants Jonathan Kuminga to be their best player every night, not named Steph Curry. Lakers wouldn't need that. You'd have LeBron and Luka, right? And then if they keep Austin Reeves. But Jonathan Kuminga is that hyper athlete, sizable, versatile forward that you can slot in at the 3, you can slot in at the 4, can defend basically every position on the basketball court, right? And if you can get him locked in, honed in, and engaged, I mean, dude, sky's the limit for this kid. Again, he's 22 years old. He's old enough. He's young enough to be drafted in this upcoming draft. He's younger than Dalton Connect, who we just drafted, right? Like, the guy has, again, all the upside in the world. Lakers want to be a pristine, development organization, right? Question is, what would it cost to go get Jonathan Kuminga, right? If it's something where it's like, you're paying John, and also what's Jonathan Kuminga's contract, right? If he's making $35 million a year, you're probably not doing that. But if it's something where it's like a Rui contract, even like a 2-year deal where it's kind of like, hey, let's see where he's at, right? But ideally, I would like to sign. Like, can you do 4 years, $68 million, right? So like $17 million a year, and just swap Kuminga with Rui? Maybe you're throwing in like a pick swap or something like that. I don't know if that would get it done for the Warriors standpoint, but the Warriors could look at it as like, hey, we get an expiring contract and we get a guy that can help us now and kind of replace Jonathan Kuminga. We can slot him at the 4, slot him in at the 3, right? Has the experience, guy that can show up in the playoffs, right? Guy we can kind of run some offense through at times, right? There might be some incentive there. Maybe they'd be willing in a Gabe Vincent. Maybe you're even expanding the trade into other players, other things. I don't know. There's a path there. There's a potential there, right? But to me, if I'm the Lakers, you got to get in that Jonathan Kuminga conversation. Bare minimum, you have to. You have to at least do your due diligence. If the Warriors don't want to trade him to you or whatever, so be it. But the Warriors are kind of they're in win now mode, right? They're in absolute win now mode because they got Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. So Lakers, like, that could be a thing for the Lakers where it's like, hey, some of these other teams, they're going to be looking to give you like picks and all this other stuff that you don't really necessarily need right now, right? You need guys that can help contribute to winning right away. Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent. Hey, would you like a Maxi Kleba, right? Maybe you're, working, like I said, you're expanding the deal or you're working something out. Point is, Jonathan Kuminga is a guy that needs to be on the Lakers roster next season. I mean, the guy is exactly what this team needs. A young, athletic foundation piece that could really just, again, give you the impact that you want, right? I understand he has flaws. I understand that there are question marks about him and his IQ and stuff like that. He's going to be with some of the highest IQ players in the league. He's going to be alongside LeBron James, JJ Redick. He's going to have Luka Doncic, right? Like, the potential that is there, I think, is too good to pass up. you're praying to draft somebody like Jonathan Kuminga, and you might be able to go and trade for him. I think you do it. Talk about, 6'8", hyper athletic, versatile forward. That's exactly what this Lakers team needs. If the Lakers can just get him locked in, honed in, and focused. Again, there's games and moments where Jonathan Kuminga looks every bit the player you want him to be. There are games and moments where you're just like, dude, this guy is insane. Right? This guy is just incredibly gifted. Right? And then there's times where you're kind of like, ugh, like, we got to get this guy off the basketball court. But again, I'm okay with it, right? Because he's young. Give him an opportunity. Give him time to develop and grow. But he's a guy you could play right now, that can make an impact right now, that could be a piece right now. Like that has its value in and of itself, right? So I look at Jonathan Kuminga, and he's a guy that I would sign up for. But what kind of production can Jonathan Kuminga provide out there on the basketball court? So let's go over it. So 47 games played. 24.3 minutes per game, shot 45.4% from the field on 12.1 attempts, shot 30.5% from three-point range on 3.2 attempts, which is not great. Definitely needs to work on his three-point shooting. Again, he's 22 years old, right? He did have a season in 2022, 2023 in which he shot 37%. He's also going to be playing alongside Luka and LeBron James. So imagine the wide open looks that he's going to get, but just something to keep in mind. Shot 50.8% from two-point range on 8.9 attempts, EFG of 49.5%, which is also the worst of his career. A couple things that I want to touch on. One, he had incredible inconsistencies in his playing time and role this season. It's kind of hard to kind of develop anything when, you're getting DNPs and, you're kind of getting 10 minutes one game and 25 the next. Again, it's kind of the Max Christie thing, right? Like Max Christie goes and under Darvin Ham looks unplayable at times and is inconsistent and all that stuff. And then JJ Redick gives him an opportunity and then he goes to a team like Dallas and he's a 15-point-a-game guy, legit two-way player. Sometimes it's just the role, consistency, and environment. I think the Lakers would provide that for him. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these stats. But free throw percentage, 66.8%. Again, needs to pick that up. He is a career 70% on 3.3 attempts, but needs to pick that up. 4.6 rebounds, including 1.2 offensive rebounds. He averaged 2.2 assists, a steal, half a block, and 15.3 points a game, which, by the way, everything was down from the previous year. But again, so was his role and opportunity and all that stuff. But you look at his per 36 numbers, which, again, don't tell you everything, don't tell you the whole story, but it does give you at least an idea of what he would look like in a starting role with starting caliber minutes. He'd be just under 23 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.5 steals, and a block per game. You look at the previous year, he would have been 22 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and a block per game. So again, in a starting role, he's a guy that can defend, that can rebound, that can do a little bit of everything out there. 22 years old. Right? Is he a flawed player? Absolutely. But all 22-year-olds are. Right? You got to train them, build them up, condition them. That's the whole point of development. Right? And he's a guy that I do think, if and given the proper development, can be that guy. Like, Lakers have nobody on this roster that you look at and go, like, that guy could be a star in 2 years, right? Even Austin Reeves. I love Austin Reeves. Yes, he can get better, but he's 27. He's like, how many years does he have to get better left? Jonathan Kuminga, who knows what Jonathan Kuminga looks like when he's Austin Reeves' age? Right? You're talking another 5 years from now. Right? Jonathan Kuminga, again, could be a star in this league at that point. He might just be a really good, maybe he's just an Andrew Wiggins type, right? Where a guy that had all the star potential in the world, but really best as like your third or fourth option. That's fine, right? Like, again, not everyone has to be a superstar, especially if it's reasonably priced, but you have the upside and potential in a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, right? And again, his role would not be what it is with the Warriors. You're looking for him to come in, hit shots, defend, right? Yes, at times you're going to need him to self-create. At times he's hot. Give him the ball. Get out the way, kid. Go ahead. Take over, right? There's times where he's just cooking and he's going to go get you 30, right? And that's fun. That's beautiful. You need that, right? So if you can go get him and you can bring him on, more than anything, they just need his athleticism, defense, and rebounding. That's what they need. And if he can have some level of consistency, give you another foundation piece for now and the future. So now you got him and Luka, you're starting to really start piecing things together. Go get, now trade for whatever, a Daniel Gafford or a Nick Claxton. Again, now you're starting to fill in those gaps. Now you have a Luka with, Austin Reeves, Jonathan Kuminga, LeBron James, and say Nick Claxton or something like that. Boom. Right now, all of a sudden, again, you have those defense pieces, or maybe it's a Daniel Gafford, right? Whatever. But now you have that youth and athleticism out on the wane. I'd still probably look to get a youthful, athletic two-way guy, but you're starting to put together those things that you need. Starting to put together those pieces that can really kind of carve out and round out this roster to the level in which you need to carve it out and round it out. I think if you're the Lakers, I think you need to get in that Jonathan Kuminga conversation, right? At least do your due diligence, at least pick up the phone, have the talk. Doesn't work out, right? Like if they're like, no, like, or he wants to re-sign there or whatever the scenario is, right? But if you're the Lakers, I mean, your whole talk is like, hey, dude, come here, we'll start you. Because I think he should start. I think he should start for the Lakers because he gives them exactly what they need. As far as the hustle, dirty plays, athleticism, defense, right? Take some pride. You're in a Lakers jersey, right? Like, I think it'd be a good opportunity. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question. You let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Do you love the idea of Jonathan Kuminga? Do you think like, nah, he ain't it? Stay away from him. Again, I just look at him. He's 22 years old. 22 years old. I think he's worth the flyer. I think he's worth the risk. And at some point, if you're the Lakers, you got to take some risks. At some point, you got to take a gamble on a guy or two, especially the position that they're in. They don't have all this flexibility and stuff. At some point, you're going to need to take a flyer on a guy that has that upside and potential and hope that it pays out. And Jonathan Kuminga could be one of those guys. And then all of a sudden, if he's, a star in 2 or 3 years, Lakers look like absolute geniuses. So anyway, again, let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.